recorded this call. Okay, so today's topic means today's agenda of the class is again a very important concept, especially while you are launching your program or launching your code into the production environment. Okay. In that scenario, there is something very important which is known as exception handling. Okay. Very important thing which is known as exception handling, because if your program crashes in the production environment, trust me, your company is going to lose your market for sure. Definitely your company is going to lose your market if your code is going to block, or code is not going to execute, or your code is going to crash in your production environment. Then definitely 100% you are going to lose your market, and as a programmer, definitely your job will be in a big danger. So what are exceptions and how should we handle that? So this is the agenda. Well, now understand what is a exception. For example, understand, before going to the exception, let me understand something. Okay, I'm typing something here. For example, if see properly, please. If I declare a variable if age equal to, let's say, 10, okay, then I write that age, if age, and then I type something, print error or anything, print hello. Okay, the moment I run it, I got an error. Okay, I got an error which is known as syntax error, right? And you people can easily troubleshoot that. You people can tell me what is the error in this code. Please tell me what is the error in this code.
Condition is not given.
No, that's a different thing. Other than this, if condition, even we don't give condition.
Colon is not given, sir.
Yes, first thing is that
Colon
first
is
problem.
not given.
Yes, first problem is the colon is not given, right? Second is that it is not under the indentation, right or wrong? Even if I put colon and run it, right? Again, error is there. Indentation error. Okay, it should be 4 white spaces away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now run it. Perfectly fine. As I told you, somebody said that a condition is not given. Remember, everything here we put will be considered as true only. Okay, so it will be getting executed, except the few things as I told you earlier. So if we don't mention the condition, I just put age here because age has been declared as 10, perfectly fine. It is going to take that. But what we saw that if we don't put colon, or we do something like this, means no indentation, we saw an error known as syntax error. Okay, one thing. Second, moving ahead. Suppose I made everything to be perfectly syntactically. I repeat, I did everything to be syntactically perfect. For example, I did print and taking hello, a string, multiply by another string. Okay. Syntactically, it's perfect. One variable for one data, second data, and then multiplying them. Okay. But what I am doing actually, the multiplication of a string is not possible. Means two data types of string type cannot be multiplied. But syntactically, it is fine. Syntactically, print is fine. We have put a bracket. If we remove the bracket from here, it will be syntax error again for sure. See that? But if we put a, see properly, if I remove a bracket, I'm not writing the syntax properly. I'm getting a syntax error. But if I put a bracket here, I won't get a syntax error. I will receive another type of error. See that? Can you see? I get an type error. See properly, this is the main issue. When I'm doing some mistakes in the syntax, I'm getting syntax error. Okay. And when I'm writing syntax rightly, but doing something wrong inside the code, means something like I'm not putting data type correctly, or I'm doing something which as per the syntax of the code is fine, but something else is happening. For example, I'm trying to read a file which never existed. For example, I'm trying to read a file. I read a file open. I'm trying to read a file which doesn't exist in my system. Example, that is any name, for example, Godzilla. I'm putting any name which doesn't exist. Godzilla.txt. Okay. Syntactically, it's perfect. No issue with that. No issue. I'm putting a file name F. file equals to open. Just what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to access a file which doesn't exist. Syntactically, there is no error. I'm running again. Again, I find a different kind of error. See, file not found error. Okay, so understand we are seeing here two kind of errors. We are seeing here two kind of error. One in which there is error in the syntax. Second, when the syntax error is not there, but there is something missing with the data or something, right? And there is third more type of error which will not be visible here. Which will not be visible here. For example, told to you I need to give some discount. Okay, I need to, suppose there's a variable known as age. Again, age has been declared as 10. Example, let me check age. Age is 10, and I'm the owner of your company, and I said, please give the discount to everyone. But sorry, give the promotion to everyone. Give the promotion to everyone. How much promotion you want to give or how much increment you want to give, that is proportional to your age, means something like that. Whatever your age is, multiply that by 0.3. That means 30% of your age, I will give you promotion. If you're 10 years of age, I'll give you, that means you can get it 10.3, that is 3 times something like that. Exactly something like that. Okay, so I want to increment your salary. Your previous salary was something. Let's say whatever your salary was, 10,000. And I said that give everyone the increment of 30%. Give everyone the increment of 30%. And what happened? You write something like this: new salary or revised salary, something like that. Revised salary equals to salary, that is already salary. Just for a concept, I'm writing, see, multiply by 0.3. 30% I want to give. But I placed the formula wrong here. If I want to increase the salary, revise salary, so ideally what should happen here? It should be 1.3, right or wrong? I want to give the increment 30% to everyone. So I should write here 1.3. Please tell me, is it fine or not? I should write here 1.3,
Yes, sir.
right? But by logic, somehow my logic went wrong. I didn't understand percentage and everything, and I put 0.3. Okay, so of course it is not going to throw any error. See, let me run it and let me print the revised salary. And this is error because I'm putting a space for the revised salary. So let me put underscore here. Let me print, sorry, underscore here, and let me print the revised salary. Let me print the revised underscore salary. Okay, no error is going to come here. Earlier we saw two kind of errors. One was syntax error, other kind of errors. In this case, no error will be visible. Let me run that. Oh, that's my mistake. I think I'm doing something. What happened here? 10,000. Okay, let me remove the comma. Sorry, my mistake. Let me remove the comma and put it 10,000. Okay, now run it. Okay. No error is there. No error is there. Just I made some mistake. Those were visible here. So right now there is no error. 10,000 into 0.3. But what is my revised salary now? 3,000. But it is an error or not? Tell me. For the boss point of view, it is an error or not?
Yes.
Everyone at the end of the month will expect that my salary will be 30% higher, and his salary has been reduced by 70%, right? And these kind of errors, that means the errors which occur due to irregular or improper logic. This is improper logic that you have put it here, are known as, these kind of errors are known as logical errors. Okay, these kind of errors are known as logical errors, where there is some error in the logic of your code. Okay, no syntax error is there, no something like this kind of errors are there. The simplest type of error in which you can't see where the error is. You have to just troubleshoot it. You have to debug your code and check where my logic is went wrong, and you have to troubleshoot. Otherwise, syntactically there is no error. This is one kind of error, that is logical errors, right? We can see that we don't find any error in the code, perfectly working, but logic was wrong, so I got a wrong result. Second kind of error, which you just saw here, for example, where it is like this. Let me show. It's known as compile time errors. Please see, understand properly. Compile time errors. Okay. And remember, when we run a Python code, then what happens behind the hood? When we run a Python code, what happens behind the hood? Suppose again, I already declare my age. Age is 10. I'm repeating is again, let age is equal to 10. And here I'm making some syntax errors. Like if age, I didn't put a colon and type print. Again, I didn't do the indentation. I said hello. Okay. So what is happening behind the hood? When I will try to run this code, first of all, a compiler will be called. Remember, a compiler will be called, this is known as Python compiler, that will try to convert this high level language into bytecode. It will try to convert this high level language into the bytecode. Okay. But to convert that high level language into the bytecode, first it needs to check the syntax. First, it needs to check the syntax. If some error is coming due to the syntax, improper syntax, that is known as compile time errors. So let me run this. You will see itself, it will be showing syntax error. Right? So if any error which is arising in your program due to syntactical error, means they will happen during the compile time, when the Python compiler will try to compile, means try to check the syntax of your code and try to convert that high level language code into the byte code. It found an error and it immediately threw an error. Right? And when the error is thrown, of course, you won't get your byte code. So we get an idea. The second kind of error is due to the syntax and it occurs during the compile time. Is it fine, everyone? Please tell me. Is it fine?
Yes,
How it is
sir.
occurring? Okay. And third kind of error, very important, which is known as runtime errors. Okay. And runtime errors are what? The errors which are not catched by compiler. Means syntactically you are 100% perfect. Syntactically, you are 100% perfect. There is no error in your syntax at all. That's why compiler is not able to catch that, and it successfully complete your conversion from high level language to bytecode. High level language to bytecode. But now the problem comes when your PVM, that is Python virtual machine, try to execute your bytecode. Now the problem comes, because seeing the data type or seeing the file exist or not, this is not the work of compiler. Python compiler just converted your high level language into the bytecode, just checking the syntax. Just checks the syntax. It doesn't see whether that file that you are using in the code exists or not. It is not bothered about that thing. You are doing right operation or not, means data type is proper or not, means if you're using an operation needs that data type should be like this, it won't check. It will check syntax error, right? It won't check that. That's why compiler pass. Okay, from my side there is no syntax error. From my side there is no syntax error. Now when there is no syntax error, you will get a bytecode. Now what will happen? Your PVM, that Python virtual machine, will try to execute your bytecode. That means runtime. Now at the runtime, it will found those error. Oh, he's mentioned this file, but this file doesn't exist. Okay, he has mentioned this data type, but this operation in this data type is not supported. And such kind of errors that arises during the runtime is known as runtime errors. Example, I'm trying to multiply two strings. I'm trying to, again, as I told you, I'm trying to multiply two strings, which is wrong operation. Means for the multiply operator, the wrong data type we are using. One string and one integer would have been okay. For example, you won't get any error if I put one string and one number, integer. It is supported operation. See, you won't get any error. You won't get any error. Fine, perfect. But the moment I put again another string, hello Praveer. Hello Praveer, syntactically fine. Two operators, beneath the this. Suppose I remove one operator. Suppose I remove one operator from here. Now, which kind of error I will get? Can anybody tell me? If I remove one operator. So one not operator, one operand. This is operator is this, on which the operand operates. This is operator, that is multiplication operator. This is one operand, and so the second is second operand. If I remove one operand, it's just syntactically right or wrong? Tell me. It is syntactically
Wrong.
right or wrong? Wrong.
Wrong.
Because
Wrong.
Syntax error.
yes, this operator is expecting 2 operands, but I have put in 1, so I'll get a syntax error. See, please. Right? Because I don't satisfy the condition for this operator to work, but I provided 2 operand now. Are you privy? Okay, syntactically fine. This operator needs 2 operands. I provided 2 operands. It's not my work, means compiler's work is not to check what data types you have put at the both end. Now it is the task of PVM, Python virtual machine. So the moment it checks it, oh, what happened this? I'm not able to execute. Why? Because here the data types which have been put in here both belong to string class, and it is not supported by this multiplication. So it will throw me an error. It will throw me an error. You can check it. Right? Now this kind of error which arises during runtime are known as exceptions. Okay, so normally what is the definition of exceptions? Normally you call that runtime errors which can be handled by user or programmer. Runtime errors which can be handled by users means we should be capable of handling such kind of things. Okay, there are a lot and more. For example, this is one example. Get an idea how many type of errors are there? 3. One is logic. You made the wrong logic in the program. Simple. You won't see any error in your code. It is available, but it is available there. You have to rectify and check where my logic went wrong. That is logical error. Second kind of mistake that occurs during the compile time. While your compiler compiles, means you made some syntax error. So that will be catched by compiler. Third, you don't make any syntax error. Just you put wrong data type, or you're trying to access a file which doesn't exist. Example, these are one examples. Right? Wrong data type is supported, or file doesn't exist, or you're trying to access a file which doesn't have the permission. Access violation. Okay, you open a file which is in read-only mode and you are trying to write it. You're trying to write it. So these things, what happens? These errors occur during runtime. Those syntactical error and these occur during the runtime, and the errors which occur during the runtimes are known as exceptions. These are the errors which occur during the runtime. Okay, and normally defined as the runtime errors which can be handled by user. It can be separate. There can be a lot more. For example, let me try one thing. I'm using integer. See properly. Okay, and integer is what? This is a function which will convert whatever you will put it inside into an integer. If I put a 3, of course it is a 3 integer. Fine, no problem is there. Even if I put 3.2, fine, perfect. Even if I put a string, but number 3, which can be converted into a string, fine. Number 3 means compiler is checking, okay, one input is given, okay, one input is giving perfectly, but I put an A here. A cannot be converted into the integer. Compiler will pass it. Compiler says that, okay, this is integer. When arguments needs to be given inside, it is given. For me, it is okay. Pass to the PVM. Now PVM, you check it. My duty is over. PVM checks it. Okay, this is the A. Oh my God, this is A string. It cannot be converted into integer. Immediately, it will raise an exception. See, value error. Value error. Lot more. For example, I try to divide. Division is always available. Okay, division is always available. Suppose I try to divide 5 by 0. Syntactically, it's fine. Division operator needs 2 things. One is here, one is here. And that too, for example, it needs both to be numeric. Both are numeric. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But in Python library, if you normally use core Python library, there is nothing like infinity. If you use NumPy, there is infinity. But in Python library, infinity is not there. So if I try to run it, it will show 0 division error. Can you check it? And what kind of error it is? Again, it's an exception. I hope everyone got an idea. Everyone got an idea. What is a runtime error? And what are the use cases when it is going to occur? Is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm moving it now. The task comes. Now the task comes. How will we handle them? How will we handle them? Okay, what happens is that suppose I write this int a, and after that, because our code is what? Code is nothing but a sequence of statement in which several statement will be written, one after another, something like this will be written. So I'm writing first statement this, convert your a into the integer and save the result in, for example, a variable known as b. And second statement is any statement that you want, suppose print or something. Hey, converted successfully, or whatever you want to do. You can beside print, you can do anything you want to do. For example, this is the second statement. Third statement is again you declare a variable. Let's say c is equal to 45 something, and d is equal to, let's say, again a variable known as my name. Okay, something like that. What will happen at the first line only? The first line only, your PVM will find wrong data type has been put inside the it, and immediately it will raise an exception, and your program will be crashed immediately after the first line. These won't ever execute. These won't ever execute because at the first line only, your interpreter, your PVM will find out that there is an exception, there's an error, right? Let me run this. Can you see that? I didn't see anything, and immediately showing me where the exception occurred, and it's telling its type is value error, and what is the definition? Invalid literal for integer with base 10 means it is expecting to put inside something which should have base 10. Base 10 means decimal number, right? Decimal number has a base 10, number from 0 to 9. If you're from engineering background, we know the what is base. For example, binary has a base of 2. So we have 2 digits only, 0 to 1. Octal has a base of 8. So we have 8 digits only, from 0 to 7. Hexadecimal, 16 digits, 0 to 15. Decimal itself, 10 digits, 0 to 9. Okay, this is base 10. Now, how to handle these exceptions? Very, very easy. How to handle this exception? This is very easy task. You can easily handle these kind of exceptions. How? You need two important keywords. Two important keywords. One known as try. Okay. One try, and second known as accept. You need two important keywords. One is try. Second one is accept. Okay. Accept will handle your exceptions. Okay. So how do you use that? You will put try colon. Okay. Try colon enter. Once you enter, you will be landed under the indentation. Okay. See. Just after that, I go here, press enter. I enter here under the indentation. Now here write the things which you suspect. Which you suspect here, it may raise an error. It may be a mistake. For example, you're trying to access a website. Understand? You're trying to access a website today and try to fetch some data from that website. We're trying to fetch some data from that website. Okay. But it may be possible that website is highly secure. It doesn't return you data. Okay. It makes your operation fail. So if you are just directly trying to access the data without using try, then definitely your program is going to crash if that website is 100% secure. Or you're trying to access a file, you are not sure. I am not sure that file exists in my system or not. I'm not sure. I'm just trying. I don't know it is available or not, but I'm just trying. Okay, I want to try. It is available, then fine. If not available, then I have to do something else. So all such statement which you think may give an error, you have to put inside the try block. Okay. And all the things that you want to perform if exception is raised. If exception is raised, then what you want to perform, you have to write that under the except. I'm repeating once again, the statements that you want to try means that may raise an exceptions, means here inside try, you will write those statements which you feel may raise an exception. Okay, and here you will write the statements which you want to execute if exception is raised. Okay, so either of these will execute. Either try will execute. Okay, means what will happen? First of all, try will execute. If there is no error, perfectly fine. Your except won't be executed. Okay, if no exception is raised, your except block won't execute. Your except block won't execute. But in case any of the statement raises an exception, you will immediately go to the except field. This will prevent your these kind of errors which we are finding here. This will prevent your these kind of errors which you are finding here, and your program won't crash. Tell me, is it okay? Till this point, I'll come to how to use it. Till this point, if any doubt anyone is having, please tell me. If it is okay, just say okay, I'll move ahead.
No problem, sir.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so I'm moving ahead now within task. With a task, suppose I want some user to enter his age. I want some user to enter his age. Okay, as simple as that. I'm asking him to enter his age, and specifically, I want to tell him, please tell your age in the numeric digits. Tell your age in the numeric digits only. So what I'm doing, but I'm not sure. It may be possible that he may enter some alphabet. Okay, or it may be possible that by mistake, for example, his age is 32. So beneath the digit 3 in your keyboard, there are letters W and E. So by mistake, possible that he may press W and E, W or E. It may be possible if I am he's trying to type 3, but unindentedly, he typed 3 and E. For example, same way, he's trying to press 4, and he doesn't have a special numeric keyboard in the laptop. There are several laptops which come to the market which is smaller in size. It doesn't have a dedicated numeric digit keypad. Have you seen those? Several types of laptops come in the market, and there are few laptops that doesn't have a specific dedicated numeric keypad in them. I think you people may be aware of that. Tell me, is it fine or not? Have you seen those keyboards or not?
Yes, sir.
Right, so in that case, what happens, you have only one place where the numeric keys are available, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and above that there are some special characters. Unindentedly, suppose instead of that he entered some special characters, quite possibility. So I have to be sure, okay, this mistake may occur, this type of mistake may occur, so I have to smartly handle this thing. So what I will do, see properly, try, I'll put try. I'll say, please enter your age. How will I enter his age? Ask his age, remember? Input. Okay, this is the input, asking the way. I'm saying that please enter your age in numeric form. Okay, but I'm not sure, he may do mistake. Okay, and whatever he want to enter, I need numeric version of that. Okay, so what I will do, I know, before this input, I will put int. Fine, everyone? Please tell me, is it fine?
Yes,
Till this point, it is fine. Okay, so he will enter his age. He will enter his age, and suppose I want to decide something, or I want to print here, like what? Checking his age, I want to say if age is greater than or equal to 18, I want to say that, okay, you are eligible. Okay, else I said print, sorry,
Sir, eligible spelling.
what happened? What happened? Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't see that. Eligible, fine. Eligible. Okay, I did something like that. Means whatever I want to try, I put it there. If everything goes good, means he enters the numbers in numeric data only, that will be converted to the integer, perfectly fine, and that will be stored into the age. And accordingly, we can make a decision. But somehow, if he doesn't do that, he enters some alphabet, then of course, there will be an immediate exception raised. Now I have to deal with that. How can I deal with that? See, let me tell you. Enter. Now move to the block. Which is designed to handle your exception. Okay. One way to deal with that. If you are programmer, a solid programmer, you may know that if he will enter alphabet, instead of that, what kind of error is going to be read. For example, I'm trying to convert here an alphabet into an integer, then what kind of exception is being raised? Can you see that? It's mentioned here. Can you see which exception is raised here? Value error, right? So what will do, I will take value error and say except value error. Means exception is raised, and if this exception is value error, see, exception is raised, and if that exception is value error, so suppose I want to print him, okay, this exception has been raised. For example, there also we are seeing some kind of error. I mean, this is same I want to show him. This is same thing I want to show him. So what I will do, value error as save as any alias. I'm saving as alias. So give it any name you want. Suppose I said any name you want to give. Suppose I said PS. Any variable name you can give. And then what you want to do? You want to do example print. First, what is the error? What is the error that will come here? Same way, you want to print what is the type of error that has come. Okay, and before that, you also want to say print, hey, you entered bad data. You entered bad data, or you can type this way, enter data is not numeric. Is it fine? Enter data is not numeric. Okay, this thing I want to show him, and details of the error that has occurred, I've showed that. Okay, so if this except block is there, if value error occurs, then means what will happen? If he enters the wrong data, then value error will be raised, and once value error or value exception will be raised, immediately you will come here. Your program won't crash. You will come here, and once you come here, you will execute these things under this. Okay, so except block will only be executed once an exception is raised in the try block. If everything works fine, no issue with that, no except block will be called. Let me take an example. Let me run it. Okay, let me run it. Okay, immediately it's asked me, means see where enter your age in numeric form, where it is written in the try. So first it is executed for sure. First try will go for sure. Suppose I entered correctly 32, a numeric digit. Okay, so it will be numeric, but input will convert into the string, but again int will convert back into the integer only. So no problem should be there, no exception should be raised. That means what should be printed? As my age variable is 32, I'm satisfying this condition, your eligible should be printed, and I should move ahead. No exception will be raised, right? Can you see that? Is it perfect? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now suppose I'm running it again. Let me copy it in the next cell. And let me run it again. Okay. And this time I try to enter 3E. The mistake which I can do. So one is numeric, one is E. Of course, it cannot be converted into the integer. So immediately your exception will be raised. And which exception you have entered? Value error. If the same exception value error is raised, you will come here. You will come here, and this thing, this information will be entered. Let me run that. Please see properly. First line is what? Same. Please enter your age in the numeric form. I entered 3. He said, Enter data is not numeric. Whatever you mentioned that. Then he mentioned, remember, same thing that was visible here. See, invalid literal for the int with a base 10, whatever he has entered. See, invalid literal for int name, and this tab, which class this exception belongs to. It belongs to value error. Tell me, everyone, is it fine?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, what if we don't know the what error can be occurred?
Don't worry, I'll come to that. I'll come to
Okay.
that. I'll make you full proof in that. Don't worry. Is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. Now, let me do one thing. Let me copy it again. Control V. Okay. First line is there. Now what I'm going to do here, inside the same program, everything is fine. I'm doing one more thing. I'm trying to open a file. Okay. I'm trying to open a file. Like, how do I open a file? Let me share. The method is open method. Just put brackets here and mention your text file. Mention a text file, and remember this text file should be in the either specify the complete path or use the same directory where the Python searches. And I've told you how to do that, how to find where the Python searches for the file. For example, let me search in the home directory only. Okay, so I'm putting a file. Let's say the name is any name. Suppose first of all I'm typing test.txt. Text.txt. I'm trying to open a file that is text.txt, and whatever I want to do, suppose I want to perform some operation, that is later issue. I want to open a file. I may want to perform some operation on that. That's a different issue altogether. But I inserted initially statement. Okay. And what is happening is that I just explained this exception. Which exception? Value error. I just explained value error exception. Okay. So this file is existing. I know this exists in my system. If this exists in my system file, perfectly fine. It will remain open. It will execute perfectly. Then if I enter my digits perfectly, then no problem, this will be executed. So let me run first of all in our favorable condition that no exception will be raised. Let me go there. Let me run it. Okay. There was no error in the first line, means the file existed. No problem. He asked me something. I enter 32. Perfect, fine. Okay. Once again, I run it. This time file, I know file exists, so it will again not show an error. Let me put 3E again or any number. It will take me to the accept value error clause, right? Because I know this is the error. It take me there. Now suppose I'm trying to put a file which doesn't exist. Same way, Godzilla. Can anybody tell me what is going to happen? I'm putting a file which doesn't exist here. What is going to happen?
It will crash.
Yes, it is going to crash. Why? See, why will happen? Actually, it will raise a different kind of exception, which you have not defined here. Okay, it will raise that you are using a file. It is going to explain you different kind of exception, which is not defined here. So see, your system is going to crash in the first line only. You will not move here. Even this is not going to get executed because this line will trouble you. This line is going to trouble you. Okay, itself, you will get an immediately your program is going to crash. You are not going to move to the second lines. So let me run it. Please see. Immediately get an exception. File not found error. Fine. It is immediately saying no such file or directory. Godzilla.txt. Now you people can tell me how can I handle it? Please just use your brain. Tell me wrong. Doesn't matter. Tell me wrong. Barely matters to me. I want your imagination to come out. That's the main thing.
So replace value error by file not found error.
If I does that, then in case he enters this one, then one way is that if I am sure that only one kind of error is going to come, that is file not found error, I will replace value error by the file not found error. It will work.
Sir,
Is
sir,
this
we
clear?
have to mention both the error.
Yes. Now that's a good idea. So what should happen? We can have multiple except blocks. We can have multiple except blocks. So what I will do again, I'll go here, very much like this. I'll copy it, okay, paste it, and this time I will put the exception that I'm getting right now. That is file not found error. Okay. I'll put file not found error, and if for example I can give any name, doesn't matter. I put file not found error FN. Please mute yourself. Somebody's unmuted. Please, it's a request. Thank you. Okay. FN, and here I entered whatever I want to say. Suppose I said file name entered file does not exist. Entered file does not exist. And again, I want to show him the messages regarding this exception FN. Same name that I've used here. Same name I'm using here. Nothing else. Okay. Now let me run it again. Can anybody tell me what is going to execute? What is going to happen in this case? Please.
It will print the file not found error
Yes.
function.
In this step only, it will throw an exception. And which kind of exception it is going to be? File not found error, which matches here, not here, which matches here. So this except block is going to execute. I hope everyone is clear. This except block, you can put as many except block as much you want, Okay. So I'm running it and see. Please see. Entered file does not exist. No such file or directory. And exception is file not found error. I hope it is giving you confidence. It's very easy. Tell me, is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Perfect. Now I'm moving ahead. Okay. Again, I'm copying. Okay. And now suppose what I can do. I know there may be 2-3 exceptions. Okay. This is the case when you want other things to happen. Means you want to print something else, or you want to perform different operation. When value error is occurred, you want to perform different operation. Well, file not found error occurred. You want to perform something different every time. Suppose you want to perform same thing every time. Same thing every time. Doesn't matter whether value error occurred or file not found error occurs. Then what I can do, I can remove this except block. Okay. And create a tuple here. Create a tuple. Value error. And remember, second name was file not found error. You can put as many exceptions in the tuple as many you want. Okay. If you want to perform same operation on either value error occurs or file not found error occurs, you want to perform same task. Okay. So inside you can say some error is there. I just mentioned because I want to mention same thing. I cannot enter wrong data entered, or I cannot say wrong file exit. I want to put only one thing. Means common things you want to do. So I can enter some error occur. Please check your code. Please check it. Okay. Simple thing. I can put as many exceptions as I want. Run it. Can you tell me what is going to happen now if I'm going to run it? What is going to happen?
Sir, file not found error will be
Yes,
executed.
yes. File not found error will be executed. Perfectly fine. If let me run this. Fine. Some error occur. Please check it. No such file or directory. File not found error. Now suppose I type correct. Let it be wrong as well. Doesn't matter because I want this code to be available for you so that later on when you want to see it, you can see it. Okay. That's why I'm working in the different. I'm doing here, try. Okay. But this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to give correct file name. test.txt. So of course, file exists, 100% sure. File not found error will not occur. This may occur depending upon he writes correctly or wrongly. Okay. Depends on that. If he writes numeric digit correctly, then of course none of the exception is going to occur. Let me check that. Okay, I had 32. See, because it was existing, so file error was not thrown. As it was wrong, initially I got it. So one line is passed, I move to the next line and asking the input. As I'm entering correctly, it will be printed, you are eligible. Perfect. Now again I'm copying it, and this time I'm going to enter intentionally wrong value of the age. Okay. Suppose I type 4R, which cannot be converted into an integer. So immediately I will be getting 4R. See, some error occur. Please check it. Invalid literal for int with base 10, classes value error. Is it okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Perfect.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, sometimes the error will come is none. So what is that?
Pardon?
Sir, where there is sometimes the error, there is no error, but the
Then if
output
error
is coming, sir, none as an output.
in that, actually none is a particularly data type in your Python as well. There is none exists in the Python data file. That means you are not, something is missing, something doesn't exist. Empty values, you can call them empty values.
Sir, none. I'm saying NO, NE.
I know any.
Okay.
That means empty values.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, fine. So I'm moving ahead.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, that in except function, can we use if statement?
No, you can actually under it, you can do everything you want under this. Anything you want to type, anything you can type, even for loop as well. It's your choice.
Yes, sir. That can
Anything.
be.
Yes, anything you can do. Anything means these are print statements. Now you can use this kind of code as well. Whatever you want to perform, it's entirely your choice. For example, let me show you. Suppose if value error occurs, I want to type for I in range. You can do anything for if whatever you want. Five times I want to print, so that it shocks in somebody's mind. Okay, print, hey, you are full. Anything you can type inside. Anything you can type inside. Right?
Okay.
Let's see. Let me run it and intentionally type wrong 3R and see. You are going to see 5 times you are full. Check it. Okay. So once comes under, you can type anything in the except block. The same way you can type anything in the age block, anything you can type inside the except. Anything you want. Except is what? Except is for handling. Means what you want to perform if above exception is raised. Anything you want to do. It's entirely your choice. I hope you get the idea. I use a for loop. You may even create a function. Anything you can do. You can use a if condition statement. Anything you want, you can do that. Anything. Is it fine
Okay,
now?
sir.
Anything you can do.
Yes, sir.
Anything you can play with that. It's in your control. You can do anything you want. Okay. So I'm moving ahead. I'm again copying it. The code this one. And let me show you something. Okay. Suppose either one way is that run this and check which exception is there, right? So for, I know with this condition, I will get file not found error. With this exception, I will found a value error. Sometimes you don't know. Okay, sometimes you don't know which exception is going to come. So what you can do, if value error is not able to diagnose that, file not found error is not able to diagnose that, you can just put a empty except block here. Okay, means not value error, not file not found error. You don't know which kind of exception it is. You can do whatever you want. You can print unidentified, whatever you want to do. You want to type for loop or if loop, whatever you unidentified exception for me, like this. Okay, so if value error and file not found error comes, it will be handled here. And if something different occurs, so let me take an example. We did something where a different kind of error was there. Value error, file not found error. We did that 0 division error. Okay, this is the thing. Let me bring it here itself. Okay, And here, let me type the last, or anywhere you want. Suppose anywhere you can type. So if I type this place, then this will be executed, this will be executed, this will be executed, then error will come here, and then exception will be raised. I hope you understand where I'm writing the code. Okay, print 5 divided by 0. Okay, and this is a zero division. I have not defined here. Still, it will be handled. Still, it will be handled because we have put a accept block. It will not be founded in the value error, file not found error. So if you don't remember anything, go to the accept block. Okay, let me run that. Of course, it is going to come because first line has been executed. Then second line, it is asking me 32, fine. So it will satisfy my condition. So age greater than 18, I will be printing you are eligible. Then exception is going to be raised. See, okay. Then exception is going to be raised. Then what is happening? 5 by 0 is not executed. Immediately you jump to unidentified exception for me. Can you see that? Please tell me. It's a sequential code. Remember, it's a sequential code. So everything runs in sequence. So first line is checked. It's fine. Passed. Second line checked. Passed. Third line checked. Passed. Fourth line checked. Passed. Then come here. At the last, if you put print at the top, you won't even get this. You won't get even this thing. For example, let me Control X. Or let me put it one at the bottom, one at the top. Fine. So that we can see the difference. 1650. It won't even ask me now. It won't even ask me. Immediately it will raise an exception and it will print unidentified expression for me. Let me run it. See, it didn't even ask me now. So understand where your line of code is written. Is it fine? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Please tell me, everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it's okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or if you know it is a zero division error, fine. It's fine. Now suppose I want to show, I don't know which exception it is. I don't know what exception it is. There is a way to know that. Let me show you how. If you don't remember even these value error, file not found error, there is a mother of all these exceptions, which is mostly time available, most of the time available. How can I come to know? Let me bring it downside, open a window and type Python 3 build. Yeah, it came here automatically. Exceptions. Okay. And this is the documentation of the Python 3.9.7. And I think there should be a document which I studied. I remember. It's not there. It's not there. It's not there. No. Yeah, fine. This is the thing. There is an hierarchy. There is an hierarchy means overall who is the highest level? Base exception. Okay. And most, then your system exists, then your keyboard interrupt, then your generation exists, and most of the exception that we are using are under the exception class. Okay. This is the parent of these class. And above all, at the top hierarchy, we have base exception. This is exception which is having our thing. For example, remember what we saw? We can find those error. File not found error. Can you see that? It is there under the exception. Okay. Similarly, there was a error which we found that value error was also there, if I'm correct. Yeah, value error is there, right? Even one more error just arrives, zero division error. We see that if it is available or not. Value. It's not. It should be here. I'm not able. Let me type Control F 0. Yes. Yeah, it is there. Zero division error. Okay. So what I can do now, I know these all are under the exception. So what I can do, see, I did this thing, I removed all of these things and type except. Should take exception. Automatic. This was the parent class. Remember? This was the parent class under which all these come. So I'm typing except exception. It will automatically detect those exceptions which come under this. Okay. I'm typing as print exception as allies, whatever allies you want to give. I said AS. AS is the
Excuse me,
keyword.
sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, it is compulsory to make an alias of the exception.
Actually, yeah, it will give you an help. It will give you an help. Let me tell you, if you don't give an alias, what will happen? Let me show you that. Print. Let me show you. I just got class, right or wrong? I just got class. Now see, if I create a PS or okay, and this now, if I put PS, now you get an idea. I'm able to get my exact exception among this. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is that? Print PS, and I can also print its type as well. Print type of PS. Type of PS. Okay. So show me division by 0 and class is 0 division by error. Is it fine, everyone? Although not, if you don't use it, it's fine. You want to move ahead, means you don't want to see. If you don't want to see, means you don't bother what division by 0 is coming, or you want to perform something else, then no need of putting it. No need of putting it. If you want to perform something else, for example, I want to print for I in range. What happened? Let me go at the exception, enter for I in range. Suppose I want to print something 5 times, colon print, hey, you are king of fools, right? Perfectly fine. Let me run it. Is it fine? You don't want to see the result, which exception is raised or something like that. No need of creating a lice. Is it fine, everyone? You can do whatever you want. I hope it makes sense. But if you want to get that info, you want to use that info, perfectly, you can create it, use PS. And if you need that info, then print PS. And we want to see the class as well, print type of S. I hope it is okay with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Done. So I get division by 0, class 0 division by error. So we are exploring every possibility. Now, next thing. Remember, we have studied for else loop, for else and while else. Remember or not? We studied loops, and then we studied for, and then the end I put else statement. And we studied while loop, and we studied else statement. And remember when those else statement were executed? Remember after break statement we put else. If you remember, if you can recall that. If you people can recall that, there is an option of using else statement as well. After the, that's an optional. That's an optional, not mandatory. As you can see, it's not mandatory. You can do whatever you want. Suppose I copy this. Sorry, I copy this piece of code. Okay, and after the accept means you are done with the accept. Come here. Optional argument else. Okay. And what anything you want to do means what will happen? See, either any accept block will execute or else will execute. Remember that thing. It's very much like your for loop. If you put it a break statement there, if break statement were getting executed, else was not getting executed. If your for loop got complete without execution of the break, then else will execute. Means if break will execute it there, else won't execute, right? Same thing is here. If accept block is executed, else won't execute it. So it will only execute if accept don't execute. Or in indirect way, you can say that if there is no exception raised, nothing kind of exception is raised, then this else block is going to work. I hope you get an idea. Right? So this like try is with the accept, either means try will execute, then exception is then accept is execute. If try is executing and no exception is raised, then else will get executed. Okay, it's not mandatory. If you want to use it, use it. Doesn't want to use it, don't use it. For example, I want to print, hey, no exception raised. Okay, bring in date back. Okay, for example, let me delete it and let me comment it first of all. Okay, let me comment it, putting a hash. So this file exists, no exception will be raised. I will enter correct data, no exception will be raised, means this block is going to work perfectly because I have commented this. That means no except block will be executed. Hence we can say if no except is executed, else will be executed. Hence we can say no exception raised. Okay, so I'm running it, asking me the age. I'm correctly entering the age, and immediately after that you will see you are eligible, and then at the last you will say, hey, no exception raised. Can you check it, please? Why else got executed? Because no exception was raised. Please tell me, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, in case raise an exception, fine. Raise an exception. Let me do that. In this guaranteed exception is going to raise, and which kind of exception is going to raise? Everyone knows, zero division error. That will be cached by except block. This except block, because here we have value error, file not found error. We don't have zero division error. It will be kept by except. So this is going to be executed. An unidentified exception for me. So I'm running it. Okay. I'm entering what I'm going to enter. Yeah, 32. Correctly, I'm entering. Correctly, I'm entering. Right. Then only this will capture. Right. Or if you can do, if you want to type incorrectly, it's up to you. Means if you want this to raise an exception, write here correctly. Perfect. If you want exception to be raised by this, then type here correctly. If you want exception to be raised by this, type here wrong itself. Doesn't matter where you do that. Okay. For example, I type 3E. So this is going to raise an exception, and it will be what kind of error? It will be your value error, right? And this is going to be executed. This except block. And once except block is executed, this else is not going to execute. Let me run this. Please check. I got some error occur. Please check it. Print that, and this statement is not executed. Is it okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now again, if I want this to occur, this exception to occur, then I have to enter here correctly. Then only this exception will be occur, and that will be cached by this exception. Okay, I'm running here. 32 I'm entering. I got you are eligible, but what I get? Unidentified exception for me. And again, else is not executed because this is executed. Is it fine? So remember, this else is an optional. Remember that thing. This is optional. I hope it is okay with everyone.
Okay, sir.
Perfect. So I'm moving ahead now. Okay. Now there is one more thing which is known as cleaning. What do you mean by that? That is also required. Again, that is optional. Else is optional. That is also optional. What is that? Suppose I open this file. This is actually whatever I have done. This is absolutely biggest mistake any programmer could do. What is happening here? I have opened a file. Okay, test.txt. This file is available inside my RAM. I've opened it. And this file will remain open till either I close this Jupyter file, shut down this, and release my RAM. Otherwise, it is going to be staying there, unnecessary occupying my resources. Okay, and you retry to open it again, it will throw again problem for you. So the other people trying to access it, it will say this file is opened by someone else. Because suppose I have opened it and I didn't close the file. I didn't close the file, and somebody else tries to open it. It may be possible in the networking scenario where your one system is connected to different people. Different people are accessing your system, or your same file, different people are trying to access, and you are opening it. Somebody trying to open it, it will create a conflict. And at least if not conflict, one this thing is 100% sure: your resource management is not good here, right? Your resource management is absolutely rubbish. You're not using. So what you should do always when you open the file, when you open the file, always close that file. Means operation should be like that, file dot close. But if I put here, what will happen? Suppose I put a wrong file name. I put a wrong file name. Okay. Or even if I put somewhere later down somewhere, suppose if instead of that I operate some operation, something like that, and I put somewhere else, then what will happen? If the mistakes happen here only, or second line or third line, some error occurs at the third syntax or fourth syntax, so it may be quite possible that you open this file. Suppose you open this file in the read only mode or read write mode. It's entirely up to you which mode you want. Okay, different options are there. Suppose I open this file in the write mode. So I open this file, I take the user input, and then I want to write same information in your file. Okay, once I have written that file completely, then only I will close now, right? Once means I open a file in the read write mode, I take the input from the user. I want to write that input from the user into my file that I've opened, and then only I'm going to close that. So I'm going to put that, for example, here before this or after this, doesn't matter, like this file dot close. Then what is going to happen? Okay, even if I give a correct name, it is open. Okay, this is file, perfect, fine, file is open. Now take the input from the user. The file has been opened here only, right? I take the input from the user, and user supplied wrong input to me. Instead of numeric digit, he provided combination of numeric and string, or suppose string only, which cannot be converted to numeric data. So immediately exception will be raised. You will not come here, right or wrong? You will not come here, so your file will remain open. Am I right or wrong? Please tell me. Is
Yes,
it
sir.
fine, right? So placing here is a wrong thing, not a recommended way. Now I can do one thing. Either I can put that in every except clause. If I have multiple except clause, I can put here. If try will not execute, then 100% except will execute. So I can put one file dot close in the inside this except block, one inside this except block, and once in this else block, right or wrong? So how many places I have to place it? Three places in this example. Here or here. Either this will execute, or this will execute, right? Or this will execute. So I have to place among these three places. And same instruction if you're creating at the three places. You are the poorest programmer in this world. Never repeat your code. Never repeat yourself. Right? Never repeat yourself. This is the tagline of the programmers. Never repeat yourself. So what do you do? There is an option. There's an option. Why I'm repeating the code? There comes a thing known as one more block, which is for the cleaning purposes. Not only for file closing. If you are having a network connection with some website, okay, it will close that. But if you want to release any other resources, it will release them. So this kind of cleaning can be done by a block known as finally. Okay, this can be done by a block known as finally block. Put that in place. And what is the beauty of this finally block? Doesn't matter exception is raised or not, it is always going to execute. It is always going to execute. That at the end we can say that fine, perfectly fine. It is going to be handled. So here I can type those statement which release the resources. Okay, for example, I type file dot close. Is it fine, everyone? This is the best place. It is going to execute for sure. Either exception means either except block get executed or else block executed, doesn't matter. This executed or this executed, doesn't matter. It will always execute. So finally, it is going to open means release your resources. So what it is doing, it is used for cleaning or release your resources. Okay, so if anywhere you are trying to connect to somewhere, for example, you want to connect to a website, you want connection to remain open, and you forget to close it, don't worry. There is savior. Who is the savior? Finally block. but it's an optional. Remember that. If you're working on a local file only and you don't think so, I have captured some resources, I don't need to close them, no need of using finally. I hope it is clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Perfect. Now one more thing. Okay. So this is your finally. This is used for, remember that thing, cleaning or resource purpose. Now there is an option also. You can even skip this finally. You can even skip this finally block. How? Let me copy this and let me tell you that. How can we do that? How can we skip this finally? If any object has context management, you can do something, right? Instead of opening file like this, if I open it like with a with statement, like with open, like this, with open test dot txt as whatever file name you want to give it, whatever, for example, it's file, put a colon and do whatever you want to do with this tag. Then what happens is that the best part is that, let me see, let me type here file dot underscore underscore, let me press step if it shows. Yeah. See what happens is that this is, I created a file object, and this file object has few magic methods that we are going to see probably tomorrow. We are going to start oops concepts. You will see that there. Yes, it has few magic methods. How it recognizes file dot underscore underscore. It has two magic methods known as, see, enter. Let me see, let me press it and you will see that. Let me see that there is a matching method known as enter, and there is a matching method known as exist. Okay, enter and exist. So if any object possesses this enter magic method and exist method, means it has by default context management. It's by default context management. What do you mean by that? Automatically, it will release your resources. Automatically, it will release your resources. You don't need to bother about it. Are you getting my point? So you can skip your finally block if you use this with statement. Okay, if you use this with statement, because what is happening, this file object that we have created is having your magic methods known as enter and exist. Means it has context management, and once an object has context management, it can be used with the with, and that means directly it can close your file when used. You don't have to do cleaning manually. It will handle that. Okay, and the same way you can have a handle, you suppose you want to open two text files at the same time. You can do that. Just put a comma here and again type open, something like that. Open any other file name, let's abc.txt as abc.txt as file 2 or file 1, because it may be possible that you may open this file, copy its content and paste in this file. It may be quite possible. Okay, so you can open as many files as open, just with this statement, open this as a file, comma, open second file name, third file name, then do whatever you want to do with the files here. Write your statements, whatever statements you want to write. It's your choice, entirely your choice. For example, for now, I'm closing it. Is it okay? So finally can be avoided with the help of with. I hope it is clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is context
Yes.
management? Where automatically it will release the resources. You don't have to worry about it. Automatically it is going to release your resources. You don't have to panic about it. It is going to deal with that. Okay, these are the exceptions which are being raised. Now see, you can raise an exception, which is not recommended, although it is not at all recommended that you raise an exception, but you can raise an exception manually as well in your program. You can raise exceptions yourself, for example. Okay, what I'm trying to do actually, suppose let me create a function. Let me create a function, and that function is, let's say, def. Okay, and that function found, suppose, a factor known as x factor. Any name you can give, doesn't matter. I say whatever name I should give. I say bonus, whatever I want to. I give the name bonus. Okay. And here I'm expecting a user to enter a numeric digit which should be positive. Which should be positive. Okay. So to tell him that it should be positive, I put a doc string here. Remember, I told you in the beginning, always good method when you are defining any function, put doc string. And here always enter positive number. Okay. And here I want to deal by mistake if user enter negative number, I have to raise an exception. So what I can do, I can type if age is whatever he will enter, the same variable I'm using, age is less than 0. Okay. Age is less than or equal to 0. Even 0 is not of your sense. Age is less than or equal to 0. Just type raise example. What kind of exception you want to raise? Just decide yourself. Okay. For example, I'm saying I want to raise value error. I'm just giving an example. Okay. Value error. And you have an option. Put the bracket in the bracket, put whatever you want to put inside. For example, you said, hey, either you entered 0 or negative number. Okay. And this is going to raise an error. Simple a keyword I've used, raise. Okay. A value, whatever exception you want to raise, just put it there. Value error. And it is going to execute only if this condition is true. I want to come out of this loop. If this condition is not executing, come out of this loop. Come out of this if condition. If this is not going to execute, I'm going to move ahead for sure. I know I'm going to return what? Suppose any number, let's say age divided by 10. That's it. Just my purposes. Age divided by 10, I want to return. As simple as that. Or age divided by 10 or 10 divided by age, whatever you want to do, it's entirely your choice. Okay. Something like this. So I decided declare this function. Let me move ahead. Okay. And let me use it. Doesn't matter. Okay. I've decided this function. Let me run it. Okay. Run successfully. Now let me call this function. And as it will return a value, let me save it somewhere. Okay, I said my age equal to, I'm calling the function name is bonus. And suppose I put a positive number. He's asking me to put a positive number, perfectly fine. Suppose I put 20 here. So of course, 20 is, this condition won't be satisfied. So this is not going to execute. In fact, this is going to execute because this will be skipped. The statement will be skipped for sure. So I'll be moving to the next statement. So what I will get the value 2. Let me check. If I want to see print my age, I'll get 2 for sure. Yeah, perfect. But in case, what happened is I entered a negative number. Suppose -5. Then what should happen? -5 will satisfy this condition. Then a value error should be raised and this message should be displayed. Can you see? The moment I enter, I see a message, value error. Hey, either you entered 0 or a negative number. I hope it is clear to everyone. Although raising an exception is not recommended because this process takes a lot of time. This process means these programs are time consuming when you are using these exceptions. I'll show you that. Is it fine, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me show you an example how to check the time that it is going to take. Okay, so let me copy this code. Although it doesn't matter, I'm using the function only, so barely matters to me. I'm importing a library known as import time. Okay, before that, let me do one thing. Let me take this code. Okay, take this code and let me copy here. And instead of raising an error, raising an error, you just want to mention him now. You want to mention him, for example, either hey, you entered 0 or negative number. You are here halting your program, right? Unnecessary, you are halting. It is not recommended to raise error. This is what professionals follow. Okay, don't raise an error. If you, it can be solved somehow by your if programming or something. Please solve it. Please solve it again. Okay. So if age is less than 0, can I do something like this? Means I can message him. Sorry, control set. I can just put a message here. I'm just taking an example, right? Print. Hey, you entered negative number or 0. Okay, just what our purpose is, right? This is a different thing. We raise an exception. This is one way of doing that, but it's not recommended. People normally experts says that if raising exception can be handled anyway, anyhow by your if condition, try to help it. Try to help it. Okay, try to help that. So I'm just trying to do that, mimicking same thing. You entered negative 0 number, and here also you can ask him, please enter a number or something like that. Okay, fine. So I'm running it. I'm giving the different name now. Bonus one. Okay, this one program is running. And now see what I'm gonna do. I'm importing a library known as import time. Okay. Now under this, I type time start. See what I'm saying. Start equals to time. Okay. And under that, I'm typing my first function, which was known as bonus, right? So my age equals to let's say anything you want to use. My age equals to bonus, right? It was bonus. And argument I'm giving, suppose I'm giving the right argument, that is 10. I'm giving the right argument, let's say 10. Perfect. Bonus argument perfect 10. And after that, again I'm typing end equals to time this way. Means this will start my time. This will means what will happen? It will start a clock here. At this point, it will start a clock. This clock will remain open till you again use time. Okay, it will stop here. So what we know means starting time is mentioned by this, ending time is mentioned by this. Then I want to print what is end minus start. Okay. It is going to be a very small quantity. So better if you want to check any performance or something like that, how much time it is going to take. It will take, it will show you. Let me show you that. How much time it is going to take. It will show very, very less. See this much amount, 0.00999999. This much time means starting to ending. This much time is going to be taking by executing this code. That is bonus 10. This much time it is going to take. But better is that it is very small time. Suppose I want to run this code for the 1000 times and then want to see. Then it gives me a correct comparison, because there may be some code which are available to you and which are very, very taking again very, very small amount of time. Suppose somebody is giving 0.0009967. So it is very meager difference. So if you want to see a large difference, always try to run your code for the larger time. Later on, just compare. Either remember, for example, the time came 4 seconds and you run for 1000 iterations. Just divide that 4 by 1000. You'll get an idea at least. So what we do, I want to run this code for 1000 iterations. Can anybody tell me how can I do that? I want to
Sir,
run
for loop.
this. Yes,
loop.
yes, very good, very good. Okay, so I'm copying it again. Very good, Peter. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start my time, and here I'm typing for I in range. Suppose I want to run it 10,000 times, right? I want to run it 10,000 times. So I place range 10,000. Sorry, comma. I put it here. Intentional 10,000 colon. And under that, what I want to run this code. Okay. And once we have come out of this loop, please stop it. You start the time, start your for loop, run the same code 10,000 times. Once you are out of the loop, stop the time and note it. and just print and minus start. So now it will give me the time taken by this code to run 10,000 times. Okay, let me check it. We'll get something significant. Even it is showing 0.06, but it is at least better than this. 0.009. It is still 0.0. You want to increase it, increase one more zero, increase two more zero. Now at least we can see. I hope you get an idea how to check your time performance of programs. Is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, hope this class was meaningful for you. So I'm stopping for the day. Okay, is it okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, and have a good day. Even a good night now.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you,
night, sir.
everyone.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.